Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Kobe back for another video. So basically, man, got a little story time for y'all today of what happened to me. Quite sure you read the title. You were probably wondering about what system am I talking about, but it's the worker system, the labor system. In life you gotta do what you gotta do, man, to pay your bills. Provide for your family. You just got to do what you got to do, make it, man, get you some stable income. So I'm not against that at all. But I can't help but to recognize and become aware of how screwed up the system is. And I'm quite sure many of y'all can relate to it. So I'm going to share my story about what happened to me. And if anybody else is going through it, the same thing, or can relate to at least a similar situation containing this system, just continue to watch this full video, man. Okay, so basically, I was given an opportunity from my company to go work, go get some extra money to work for an out-of-town job, right? There's a turnaround going on, right? And just in case for the ones that don't know, I'm a truck driver. So, yeah. So basically, it was all good. It sounded good. I'm like, yeah, man, shoot, I'm trying to fund a dream and all this stuff like that. I'm trying to, pay my bills, have some left over to do what I got to do to save, invest, whatever. So it sounded all good and stuff to me. So, me and my homeboy, shout out Brian, man, they told us they got a site supervisor. Well, not site supervisor. It was our, I'm guessing, direct supervisor, whatever, in the plant. He came and, approached us with it. Hey, y'all, man, y'all trying to make some extra money, man. 12 hours a day. You get your per diem, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we's like, yeah, we're going to talk it over with our ladies, let them know, hey, we about to go make this money and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, you never heard nothing else about it, right? And so last week, our site supervisor got in contact with us. He said, hey, if y'all gonna do that job, I gotta set y'all up at the ISTC building. Y'all gotta take y'all classes, and then y'all gotta go out there, I guess for like some type of orientation. That's what they said, right? So I'm like, okay. They made that shit sound so good. I ain't gonna lie to you. They made it sound so good. And basically, we get there, we take our classes, all that's done. Grab our badges. As a matter of fact, thought my badge was in here. Maybe it's not. Anyway, we got our badges, right? It's just to go to this plant and work this job. Then after we finish, we headed to, Louisiana where the plant was. And first we went to the office and it was like, okay, hey, what's up? You guys gonna be the ones working? And we was like, yeah, we gonna be the ones, doing the job. So basically the guy that, I don't know if he's the dispatcher or something or whatever, but he was our point of contact. So we was chopping it up with him in the office, and next thing you know, he was like, yeah, we gonna start on June 12th and stuff like that. That's when the turnaround start, but y'all possibly gonna start on the 16th. It was like, shoot, that sound good, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, no, as a matter of fact, we didn't know what day we was gonna start. We just know what time. We just knew when he said the turnaround was gonna start. So, we, chopped it up. It wasn't really much. He only been there for 2 months, so he didn't really know that much information at the time. So he said, all right, I'm gonna go grab somebody from the back. He gonna give y'all escort to the plant to let y'all know where y'all gonna be going. Now, not inside the plant, but to the actual plant site. And so we went over there, signed in and everything. And After that, you know, we got our badge in. We what else it was? It was some type of weird stuff to where you had to scan your hand or something and read your veins. I never have seen that before ever. But anyway, so we did that, and that was like basically it. Like we were signed in the plant, so we left. That was it. And after that, so we didn't hear nothing else about the job. So we was like, dang, man, you know. And my homeboy Brian was talking about it. It's like, man, they not telling us really much about this. You know, something ain't right about this. They tried to at first dress it up to make it seem like it was just, you know, oh yeah, like we about to sit up here and you know, y'all about to make all this money. You know, I'm gonna send y'all out there, y'all trying to make this money. So we was all down for it, but then we was like, man, something ain't sounding right. Something about this is not right. You know, you're asking, so he trying to ask our site supervisor. He's so nonchalant about it, like he don't know. So he's like, you know, what's going on? Like nobody know what's going on yet. And apparently this job is about to be in less than a week. You know, the 12th was Wednesday, and I'm like, you know, we ain't know nothing about it. So fast forward into yesterday, which was Tuesday. Basically, my site supervisor, well, that very morning I asked the direct supervisor to try to see like, hey, did you hear something? Because, hey, man, we haven't heard nothing about this job. And he was like, nope, that's above my pay grade. All he told me to do was find drivers. And I was like, what you mean by that? How is it above your pay grade when you the one that came up to us talking about it? Oh, y'all gonna be making all this money and this and that, telling me all this stuff, you know, trying to make it sound good. So I'm like, bro, how is it above your pay grade now? So, boom. So he told us that. I'm like, all right. So later on that evening, my site supervisor texted me and said, hey, you started Monday, 6 p.m., you know, that was it. So I didn't respond. I went up in there in the trailer office and I asked him, I said, hey, you know, I see how you said I'm starting Monday. I guess, you know, on nights, since you say come in at 6 p.m., I'll be out there at 6 p.m. So I said, okay, like, so, you know, he didn't email you anything else? Like, he just said, okay, they got to show up to work at this time. So I was like, what? He was like, nope. I guess if you got any questions, call him. Like, still with this nonchalant stuff. So I'm like, all right. Got off of work, hit up my boy Brian. So we called, and we was on three-way. And we called the guy, the point of contact. He was like, hey, man, you know, we were told we were supposed to report Monday to work. You know, we ready. We just had additional questions, you know, to try to gather more information about this job, because nobody was, you know, notifying us about anything, you know. So he was like, okay, yeah. So basically, you'll start, Jacoby, you'll be on nights, and, you know, Brian, you'll be in the morning, blah, blah, blah. So we was like, okay. So we asked him, we was like, how does it work as far as with the per diem? You know, we were told we're supposed to get, you know, a certain amount a day, blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, no, your company didn't tell you? And he was like, no, tell us what? They didn't tell us anything about this. And he was like, yeah. So the thing is, basically, you know, we're not supplying, I mean, they're not supplying any hotels or nothing, you know. And as far as the per diem, you only get that on your check. It's not like you got a card to where they load it up on there and you could use it every day, you know, for like gas or whatever expenses that you may need day to day. It wasn't the case. So I'm like, oh no, like me and Brian on there, like, no, like, you know, something ain't right. They didn't explain this to us, and this is not something we agreed on. So basically after that, he was like, oh, okay. He said, yeah, we had that same problem with a few other people. So I'm guessing, you know, they tried to do it to other people too. So we like, okay. So we texted our site supervisor and let him know, like, hey man, if that's the case, we can't afford to come up with this upfront cost, you know, before getting paid. Because technically, okay, if we go one out there Monday, that would have been a whole week that we didn't get paid, because we would have got paid the very next week, because it would have been a week in a hole. So if we ain't getting per diem until on the check, that means it would have took 2 weeks to get paid. So for them 2 weeks, we either had to come out our pocket paying for hotels, or come out our pocket, you know, just with the gas, driving back and forth, because it's like an hour from where we stay. So I'm like, nah, that's a ripoff. Why we supposed to be coming out here working for another, you know, helping out this company for a turnaround. Why are we having to pay, you know? And then the killer part is, like, just say if they have a rain out, right? And they say, y'all don't got to work today. We don't get paid per diem for that day. Like, or, you know, we don't get paid at all. So it's like, you know, it didn't sound right. You know, I'm like, well, how are we got to spend all our money up front, but that's not even a guaranteed reimbursement of all of that we spending. You know, a good company, they would have probably like, all right, we supply the hotels, blah, 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 per diem every single day, whatever. But, you know, that wasn't the case. So our site supervisors calls the big boss. Fast forward, I got off track a little bit. So our site supervisor calls the boss man, right? Tells them about, hey, I don't know what he told him, but obviously he told him that we didn't want to do it no more. So we gets a call from my boss man, and he sitting up here, oh, I heard you don't want to do the job. Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. It's 2 freaking days before the turnaround. And we was like, and I'm like, well, they told me that it starts on the 16th. So it's actually like, you know, all the way up until Monday. And also, we wasn't aware of everything that went into, you know, this job. You didn't let us know. Or nobody else let us know. You know, I kept asking for information about it, but nobody knew, you know. And he was just basically pissed off and saying, well, I don't know, man. I can't promise you any hours. It's slow over there. So, yeah. I mean, if it was me, I would have drove. So we like, I'm like, bro, that's you. You know, I'm not trying to spend all that money up front and wait 2 weeks before getting the check. Like, come on, bro. So I did that. I told him that, so he just was getting pissed off. He said, yep, I can't promise you hours. So he was getting more pissed off because I was just calm with it. I was like, it is what it is. So after that, he hung up the phone in my face and stuff. He got mad. I was like, it is what it is. So time I went to work today, man, I'm on the road. I get a call from one of my coworkers saying what was said to our direct supervisor from him. You know, a message from him basically saying, hey, if they don't got no work, send them home. Now, we about to hear from you, and all of a sudden you pissed off because we decided not to go and make a good financial decision for ourselves. We got families, we got bills of our own to pay, and they gonna sit up. You gonna say, yeah, send them home if it's slow or they don't got no work. Send them home. So basically, you're letting me know you're reacting out of retaliation because you pissed off. So, you know, you legally can't force us to do anything that we want. I mean, to do anything that we don't want to do. And so your way of getting us is through the source that you can control, which is our money. And boy, that don't sit right with me, man. Because it's like, I've been through situations like that before to where a company controlled your money and it'll affect your livelihood, bro. Like, they don't care what situation you're in or what obstacle you're facing, what struggle you're facing. They don't care. They don't give a damn. I'm just be honest with you. They don't. And you sitting up here, you're trying to give your all to a company, work hard, blah, blah, blah. And they sitting up here doing stuff like that, can control your money. And I'm like, man, you know what? All of this is just showing me right here is that if he could do that you know, and try to control my money, affect my hours and this and that, and stuff like that. All it's doing is just revealing to me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Building something, building my own empire, building my way out. Yes, I'm working right now, you know, as we all should. If we got a family, responsibilities or whatever, we have to pay for stuff. So, of course, you're going to get a stable income. You know, you keep a job. But in my honest God given opinion, I feel like everyone should use that job and income that they're making from that job to invest into something for themselves. Because at the end of the day, this system doesn't care, man. They will leave you high and dry, man. I had got done that before, man. They'll leave you high and dry. So it's like, man, you just gotta make it for yourself, man. If you can relate to this, what I'm talking about, you know that this is for you. You need to break out of this cycle. I'm telling you. And the thing is, nobody's gonna come save you or do it for you. You gotta do it for yourself. If you want a different life, you don't wanna just settle for this average lifestyle. You wanna be better. You wanna level up. You gotta do it for yourself, man. So, like I said, bro, like, you know, this system don't care, they'll let you go in a minute. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push us away, you know, get you all out of your emotional frame, get you acting crazy with them, then they're going to look at you crazy. You know, but they really doing all this stuff right here. But they crooked, man. The game is stupid, man. It's just the way the system been, man. It's always been like that. And if you ask me, it's modern day slavery. I'm just put it out there. It is. It is. As long as they have control over you, which is your income, that's how they control you, you know? Just think about it like this. How many of y'all put in 2 weeks notice, right? Put in 2 weeks notice to keep your reputation clean. That's what they want. That's what they pass on to these other companies, right? And they want you to think. You use 2 weeks notice, give them a notice, right? Have any one of y'all ever been fired from a job without a notice? Or better yet, let me ask this question. How many jobs you know gave someone a notice before they fired you? How many? And that's the thing that I'm saying, man. So it's like the game is crooked, man. And it's like they expect you to go all out, and they don't value you. They don't treat you right. You're only basically just a number to them, you know? So, you know, I know there's gonna be a pretty long video, but hey, at the end of the day, man, I just had to let you guys know this and get this off my chest, just in case for anybody that's relating to this, man. Build your own empire, man. It's very important, man. If you don't do it for yourself, man, do it for your legacy, your family, the ones that's coming up to you that you passing down, generation to generation. Build the empire, man. Show them that you be the blueprint to show them that it's a different way than this life right here, man. You know, having to put up with this for 40 years, 30 years, however long, you know, until retirement. Like, come on, man. Shoot, I'm afraid to say, like, in the next 40 years, it may not even be no retirement that exists. Shoot, it keeps going up. The age keeps going up. I remember when you used to retire, like, what, 50s or something, or early 60s, whatever. Now they want you to retire at 70. Like, you know, it's just, the game is wicked, man. But, yeah, like I said, man, if you guys can relate to that, you know, drop down in the comments. Let me know. Share some of your experiences, man. I would want to hear it. And, yeah, man. Continue to subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you guys think. Continue to follow this journey, man. Like I said, I'm just like y'all. I'm starting from the bottom, you know, working my way up. And I'm grinding, man. That's why I grind and I hustle every single day. And I promise you, God, if God say the same, I'm going to give it all I got. And I'm not going to give up. You know, it's going to be hard times. That's just life. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep on grinding and not give up, because I know my purpose in life. And I know that God has more in store for me. So, yeah, man, like I say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want more content like this, you know, as far as mindset, discipline, fitness, I'm all here for you. You know, let's stay on this journey together, man. Let's grow together, build our own legacies, right? So we won't ever have to rely on another man to control our time, money, resources, okay? All right, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Y'all have a good one.